So I've arrived at Pro Wrestling Grind. One of the first times I haven't been here for setup, but you know, life goes on. It's super bright out, darker in here. And Delmy, how's it going, bud?
What's up?
How was setup?
It was nice.
Did the system break down because the one part of our system wasn't here?
No.
I don't believe you.
No, it actually wasn't. It was nice.
Clearly it didn't come together. Got the merch all set up, got the display stands, got the crew in here. How's it going, guys?
Hello!
Hello!
Terry Von Vicious does not look as comfortable up there, but he's about to try something here. Oh my goodness, and that's a big risk, and I think there was a reward in there somewhere.
Goodness, and then Logan.
You've never cussed on commentary. My goodness.
Yeah, it's happened maybe twice.
We're celebrating, folks. Perry go round, gets him right in the center of the ring. Perry's got the energy all the way around.
High velocity.
So I am in New York now. I've been driving for a few hours this morning in the absolute middle of nowhere. On my way to Indiana. Gonna make a special stop for this vlog. So I've arrived. It's now morning time here in Indianapolis, Indiana. It's quite the view out the hotel here, save for the fact that most of it is the side of that building. Kind of got the skyline, the river. There's a whole park over there. If you look very carefully, we can see inside of their baseball stadium. But that's not why I'm here. I'm about to hop in the car and drive a couple hours north to Butler, Indiana, to the International Monster Truck Hall of Fame and Museum. I haven't been back since a couple years before COVID, when I went with Rip Bison after we were booked for freelance in Chicago. So I'm pretty excited to go. I know there's some different trucks there now than there were before, and I also know that they have a gift shop now, and pretty good chance I'm gonna spend way more money than is reasonable. I made a quick pit stop on the way to the Monster Truck Museum because I had to pee, and there was a Walmart, so I stopped in, and I have to check out the toy section when I come, and pleasant surprise, they had Black Stallion. I've been looking for this forever. So now inside the International Monster Truck Hall of Fame, here with Heavy Metal, the Monster Tank, and yeah, right next to Shotgun Harry. There are so many people here. This is the busiest I've ever seen it. Tonight is their induction ceremony. I'm not gonna get to stay for that, but there's so much cool stuff. I'm probably gonna flip around out of selfie mode and just walk around and maybe add narration later.
I have experienced two sights in my adult life that stopped me dead in my tracks. The first was the full-size Millennium Falcon in Disneyland, and the second was when I realized I was standing in the room with the king of monster trucks, the original monster truck, Bigfoot. So yeah, it was great to visit the museum. You see here Heavy Metal, the Monster Tank. Those, of course, much more popular in the late 80s. Shotgun Harry here with a bit of a Dukes of Hazzard paint job. Outside of just the monster trucks on display, there was so much cool stuff. They had these great display cases, very beautifully lit, that were full of old school monster truck merch and show posters and, you know, all kinds of cool stuff. And all along the walls, I mean, everywhere, they had body panels. Some from the steel. There you see Virginia Beach Beast, a popular monster tank, but yeah, they had some steel body frames. They had fiberglass body frames. All cool parts of these trucks, and so recognizable. Of course, anyone who knows me knows this was one of my favorite displays. The monster truck toys. Most of these were the 1/64th Hot Wheels scale, but you can see there's some larger ones, and certainly some different brands and different companies that made these. Some I'd never seen in person before. Yeah, they also had full fire suits and helmets from the drivers. Just, very cool art on the walls. Here's a Goliath, which ran dual motors, front and rear. One of those bizarre things from the early days of monster trucks before everything was so kind of uniform. And this was interesting. This is a set of HO scale monster truck racers that were custom built by fans in the late 80s, early 90s, so that they could sort of race like slot cars. Very interesting to see that. Yeah, here we go with some more body panels, and you can see all this beautiful photography on the walls, kind of showing all the different trucks from over the years. We look down. Here's another case with there's one of the Play School Bigfoots, a bunch of hats. This Godzilla logo on that hat, God, I want a shirt with that so bad. If anyone finds one, let me know. Old picture of Dennis Anderson. Some broken parts from trucks past. This is just so interesting. You get so much of the history of this, and which is something that's not been chronicled all that well. Again, the amount of photography they have here is incredible, and to see it all in one place is just stunning. They've done some beautiful curation here. There you see some of the more unique trucks from the 80s. They were all so strange. Yeah, a lot of these hat designs were really, really cool looking. And maybe it's just me, remembering them from when I was a kid, but a lot of this merch design work is just, gorgeous. I really, really enjoyed it. That Rolling Thunder hat, someone can get me a shirt with that on it. I have that U.S. Hot Rod Association sticker on my VW Rabbit, which is pretty ironic looking, given the size of my truck and the fact that that's a Monster Truck Racing Association. Yeah, really though, that Rolling Thunder hat, look at that. There's a Monster Fire truck that they had, a little display truck that you could do photo ops in. And this was so cool. You'll see right down here. These are two seats from the original Pontiac Silverdome, where Bigfoot, and I believe it was 1978, did the first ever public car crush. Just so cool to see that in person. Such a nice little piece of history, given that stadium does not exist anymore. And here is this is King Kong, a diesel-powered monster truck from the early 80s, one of Jeff Dane's, the Dane brothers from Killeen, Texas, famously created and drove Awesome Kong, King Kong, the original Undertaker truck, a lot of great trucks. Yeah, all that 80s photography is just so gorgeous, and I think it's a shame that it hasn't all been captured in one place, in maybe like a coffee table book. This is Hercules 2, fully restored. This was Scott Hess's truck back in the 80s. And both the back bed and the front quarters kind of, they hinge up for easy access and work on the truck. Here's some displays showing vehicles, drivers that have been inducted into the Hall of Fame previously. And right here, this is a clone of the Nightmare 2 monster truck, but down on street legal tires. I really enjoyed this display. This is a bunch of scale models that different model makers have made that they've then lent out to the museum for display. Many of these are custom because they did not have, they didn't have model kits of most of these vehicles. So very cool to see their work, so detailed, so much care put into them. They're really art pieces. I loved this one, the little Cyclops 1/64th scale custom. Cyclops, one of my favorites. Here's several. I have all of these toys, but seeing them in the package as I saw them in stores as a kid, just sent chills. Honestly, right down my spine. It was such a cool throwback. These little yellow RC trucks you see there, and the blue one in the back corner, those were sold by Radio Shack. They were some of the first RC monster trucks, and the very first RC truck I ever had as a small kid. Got it for Christmas. Yeah, you see here more of these custom scale models, and they are just, the work that went into these to make them from scratch as customs is just incredible. There's some Monster Jam championship trophy, and Yeah, just a lot of displays of the vehicles that they've had sort of here in the museum before, and some displays of vehicles that have been inducted. Samson was one of my favorites as a kid, you know, so cool, so iconic, that big red truck with the big 77 tires. And of course, behind me is Barefoot, which is so cool to see, you know. You don't see Barefoot all the time, and I certainly had not seen Barefoot in person before this, ever, which was just so cool to see a refurbished, restored Barefoot there. And here we see a display of Excalibur, one of the trucks that would come through the Springfield Civic Center when I was a kid. And right behind me, you'll see Taurus, the Taurus Racer, which was one of the real ass kickers of early 90s monster truck racing, kind of unbeatable in its time. And okay, so this was a dangerous room for me. This is the gift shop, and I was like a kid in a candy store here, because they just had so much stuff that I would have been very happy to spend incredible amounts of money on. The toy wall alone, you know, left me just kind of jaw-dropped. But yeah, I'm going to kind of pan around and show you everything. This book, Monster Truck Technology by Marty Garza, I did pick up a copy of that, an incredible compendium of the evolution of monster trucks, both as a form of entertainment and a sport, as well as the technological side, which is really interesting, coming from a home where I was, you know, my dad's a mechanical engineer, so watching that and reading about it's been fantastic. They have you know, DVDs, pins, stickers, you know, anything you can imagine with their logo on it, because it is a volunteer-run organization, and all the money goes back into the museum. So if you're ever in the area of Butler, Indiana, I strongly recommend stopping by. Yeah, and coming up over here, you're going to see they have quite a collection of monster truck 8x10s. And anyone who's seen my workout clips on Instagram knows that's how I decorate my gym, is with 8x10s. Yeah, look at them all. 8x10s of monster trucks. And I was fortunate enough to land a few of these while I was there. And they're already up in the gym. And yeah, they make me smile when I'm down there. Yeah, they had some RC stuff. You know, just an incredible collection of things that they have here, and I can't recommend it enough. And now it's snowing. I don't think I like the Midwest anymore.
So I'm making the drive back to New England, and it is snowing. It suddenly turned into winter, I guess. And anyone who's seen my ring intros knows that I am from Deerfield, Massachusetts, home of the Yankee Candle flagship store, and that's important to a lot of people. Not really to me, but I've just made a stop here on the way and discovered this place. It is the Warm Glow Candles and More store here in Centerville. I believe I'm still in Indiana. I might have crossed over into Ohio. Anyways, it's got a lot of crazy stuff, and I'm gonna head inside so we can kind of see some of it. Before I get there though, they've clearly got it all decked out for Christmas. There's a gigantic Santa Claus, and I mean a wreath bigger than I think I've ever seen. So continuing the drive home from the Midwest here, and had to make a real quick stop at in the bustling metropolis of Germantown, Ohio, at a
a place called Neff's Lawn Care, because yeah, they just keep this parked out front, you know, just because. But yeah, you can sort of see up in there, rusting away, not in great shape, but still a full-size monster truck, so pretty rad. Like literally just on the side of the highway, and you can sort of see like a lawn care place in the background. But we were driving by and you can certainly spot it from a mile away, because it's not small. Anyhow, yeah, just neat stuff to see out in the wild.